Hi there guys, and welcome back to week 7 here of the Reading Roundup. My name is James, and today we will be going ahead and looking at the latest news throughout the last week for Reading. Throughout this episode, we're going to go ahead and discuss our first win of the season as we beat Cardiff at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. We'll talk about our elimination from the EFL Cup as we lost to Stevenage. We'll give you the latest injury update as there has been another first team player that has been announced to be injured. We'll go through the newest transfer rumours surrounding the club as we've had a couple of them come out today after Paul Ince's interview. We'll look at the new away kit as well and finally preview the Rotherham game. So we'll begin by looking at our first topic, and that's actually going to be the Cardiff game. Listen, Reading were able to get their season off to a kind of good start. Listen, I wasn't expecting Reading to get a win this early on into the campaign, and I'm actually very happy with the way that we've started the season. Listen, this first game here against Cardiff at home, I thought Reading played really, really well. If you ask a lot of Reading fans, I think they're going to say Reading played very, very well as well. The first 20 minutes was a little bit sketchy. I thought the defence was very open. But after that, I'd say the 70 minutes surrounding that, Reading were the better team. And Reading really did deserve to get 3 points in this game. I think a big key factor as well that I've noticed in this game was that Reading were able to hold a lead for 30 minutes as well, which I think is very important. It wasn't just a case of sit back and defend. Reading still pushed on for a third goal, and Reading still were able to control the game really in a manner that I thought was very impressive. Something else that really did stand out to me in this game as well, that Reading came from behind to get the win. Now look, for me, that is one of the biggest factors surrounding this game. Reading came from behind to get a victory. This is actually the first time that Reading have come from behind to win a game at home since the 9th of March. Not 2022, not 2021, not 2020, not 2019. Well, yeah, I think it was in 2019. When we beat Wigan 3-2 at home under Jose Gomez, when Liaku Mete scored that header very late on. Now look, that's mental that it's taken us that long to win from behind at home. I don't know if that stands a testament to us not going behind at home. Definitely not. It definitely just shows the character that Paul Ince has got in this squad. I think definitely something that this squad has under Paul Ince is that we really fight and the effort is always put in. And that was definitely shown in this game. Key performers for Reading that I thought stood out in this game were Shane Long and Tom Ince. Look, Shane Long, his aerial presence in this game was absolutely fantastic. He was brilliant in this game. Shane Long really did stand out for me, his aerial presence up front, and he took his penalty well as well. It was great to see Shane Long score for Reading, scoring his 40th championship goal for Reading. He's now the most in history for Reading Football Club in terms of goals in the championship. 10th penalty as well for Reading this century, and look, his last goal for the club was in 2011 against Cardiff. What happens 11 years later? His next goal is in 2022 against Cardiff. For me though, he wasn't Reading's best player on the day. It was Tom Ince, in my opinion, who was Reading's best player. He won man of the match for me. Listen, Tom Ince was absolutely outstanding. And for me, he was Reading's best player on the pitch. And I think this could be a recurring thing this season. When we looked at season previews and like predictions going into the year, I said that Tom Ince will be Reading's standout player this year. He'll be like the surprise package, and that not many people were going to expect that. A lot of people kind of gave him a bit of stick going into the season. Now he's only signed because of his dad and things like that. But look, we signed Tom Ince before his dad was even the manager. And that was obviously on loan when we swapped him for Liam Moore. And obviously Paul Ince staying probably did help for Tom Ince staying at the club as well. But listen, the boy works so hard, and Tom Ince is absolutely class. Every single time he'd lose the ball, he'd be sprinting back for it. Every single time Cardiff were on the attack, he would run back to make sure he was defending. Listen, he presses well, and I thought going forward he looked very good as well. I think for Reading, the best thing going forward in this game, attacking-wise, was the right-hand side. Junior Hoylett and Andy Yiadom looked great down that right-hand side. There was a few occasions where they were able to just really target the left-back. They were able to do 2-on-1s and just really get by him, put balls into the box that really were worrying. I think Jeff Hendrick had a chance where his header was flicked on and he was just able to go wide. Nestic Innes Walker had a chance that he really should have scored as well in the first half, where there was a cross put in and then he blasted it over. But it was Tom Ince who did score the second goal for Reading. Obviously, we spoke about Shane Long's first half goal with the penalty, but he scored the second goal, an absolute rocket from 20-25 yards. The curl on it and the power on it is just absolutely fantastic. And you've got to say fair play to Tom Ince. He really did deserve the goal. He also got into the Championship Team of the Week as well for this week, so definitely well deserved for Tom Ince. I just want to shout out the defence as well for the second half. I thought they were very solid. Tom Mack and Tom Holmes played very well. I thought they were very solid at centre-back. Andy Yeardom was class as always. And in the second half, Nesta Guinness-Walker really did improve. Listen, I've been a bit of a Nesta Guinness-Walker hater so far since he's joined the club. I kind of noticed that he's not really done too well. And I kind of noticed that in the Stevenage game as well, which I'll get to. But he played well in the second half in this game, so I have to hold my hands up and say fair play to him. Moving on then to the Stevenage game, probably won't talk about this game as much as I did the Cardiff game, but Reading really did play a young team. But Stevenage also made 6 or 7 changes themselves as well in terms of their starting 11. Reading's team was mostly made up of under 23 players though. In terms of players that kind of stood out to me, I'll just run through that now. I thought John Clark was quite poor. In the first half, he played left wing back, and I really don't think he was suited to that at all. I think, well, the goal came from his side, the cross came in from his side. I also think there was a suspicion of offside, so I think I think the officials were very poor in this game. Let's get that clear as well. But again, I'm not happy that we got beat, but I'm also not sad that we got beat because I'm not really too bothered about the EFL Cup. We know we're not going to win it. We know we're not really going to go far. And really, for us, at the minute, it's about getting points on the board. And for Reading right now, if we can just keep getting points on the board, like if we can go out there, and I think we will do well against Rotherham this weekend, then, you know, big things can happen, I think. Not big things can happen, but at least we've got a solid foundation for the start to the season. So yeah, I thought John Clark was quite poor. Obviously, he played left wing back in that first half. Levy was poor as well. Didn't think he played very well. I did like the look of Tuna. I thought he played all right, or Tuna. He played all right. I thought his 17-year-old, he looked a bit of pace on him. He looked all right. Kelvin took his goal really well. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name because I butchered it in the video. And yeah, I think he played quite well, did Kelvin. I think he took his goal really well. I think his hold-up play was quite good. Jamari Clark looked decent when he came on. I think he was quite threatening when he came onto the pitch. Same with Kamara. I thought Kamara played quite well. Was able to put the ball through for Kelvin to get his goal. And yeah, really looking forward to see Kamara more in the first team, which I'll go into in the Rotherham preview. But yeah, I think big things are going to be coming from Kamara in this next few weeks. Because obviously we have had an injury. And that's going to move us straight on to our injury update. And the injury update is that Ovi Ejaria is now going to be out for at least 4 weeks. He had a hamstring injury going into the Cardiff game, and fair play to him. He played. Paul Ince did play him in that game. He said he was willing to play, so listen, he was willing to play, but I don't know if it done more harm than good. Listen, Ejaria did play quite well. I thought he was all right against Cardiff. I didn't think he was bad. Definitely was better than when he was against Blackpool. So I thought he had a decent game in that game, but he's now been ruled out for 4 weeks, and that's taken our injury list up to quite an alarming number. I'll go through who is out right now. So Sam Hutchinson, Scott Dan, Liam Moore, Dejan Tetic, Lucas Schwell, Yakumete, Femi Aziz, and Ovi Ejaria. So that is 8 first-team players that are all out injured at the moment. And if you ask me, that is pretty concerning. We shouldn't have 8 first-team players out 2 weeks into the season. We're like 2.5 weeks in. There shouldn't be that many players out injured. I do not know what is going on. We know the Joao one was because of pre-season. Mate must have been in training. Aziz was in training. Hutchinson, Dan must have been in training. Tetek must have been in training because none of these players have played games. So I don't understand how these guys are getting injured so quickly. And it must be something that's been consistent at Reading for a while. There must be something in training. There must be something in terms of the medical room that really does keep happening, because it's happened for the last few seasons now. Look at last season, Reading really did struggle with injuries. Look at the season before that, Reading struggled with injuries. The season before that, Reading struggled with injuries. We've been quite doomed really with our injury record over the last few years, and it's something that in my opinion is a bit of a cause to be concerned, because it shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't have 8 players out injured 2 weeks into the start of the season. The Liam Moore one, I understand, he's been out for a long time. Scott Dan has been out for a long time, but Sam Hutchinson's just come here. Ovi Ejaria shouldn't be getting injured this early. Yakumete shouldn't be getting injured. Lucas Schwell's always injured, but he shouldn't be getting injured this quick. Femi Aziz is always injured, but he shouldn't be getting injured this quick. I don't know, I just think something's going on. Maybe our players are just injury prone. Maybe we just need to get shot of some of these injury prone players. But we need to find out what's going on, because obviously something's going wrong in the medical staff, and obviously something's going wrong in that medical room, because there's got something in training, because there must be a reason as to why everybody keeps getting injured so much. In terms of things that can help with the injuries, that's going to be transfer rumours, and that's going to be players that could be potentially coming into the club. It's not too much to go into detail with the transfer rumours in this episode. It's just the same as normal, really. So for the 4th week in a row, we're going to go ahead and talk about Naby Sarr. Paul Ince said that he might play Saturday. I highly doubt it, though. We've literally been waiting forever. We spoke last week that he's probably going to be confirmed this week, and he hasn't been confirmed this week. So listen, Naby Sarr, I don't expect to be confirmed tomorrow. I'm recording this on the Thursday, so obviously it'll come out on the Friday. I don't expect him to be confirmed at all, but if he does, then cool. Let's play him on Saturday against Rotherham, because he's literally been waiting to go for so long. Jonathan Lowe did interviews today at Bearwood, and obviously interviewed Paul Ince, and he said Naby Sarr was there. Naby Sarr's been training the whole time. Naby Sarr's literally was with the first team players who didn't play against Stevenage in the box watching the game. So, the guy is just waiting to play now. Something I didn't talk about actually in the Stevenage one was Loom and how well he played. He looked very good, did Loom. So, I was looking forward to seeing how he does in Championship football, because he did look very good against Stevenage. Paul Ince has also confirmed that we are in talks with a Premier League club to sign a left-back on loan. Very interested to find out who that could be. Obviously, a Premier League club is who we are in talks with to sign a left-back. Looking at some of the backups and looking at some of the players that we potentially could be bringing in, I've kind of looked at 3 that I would love to see come to the club, but I don't believe they would. So we've got Baba Rahman, who's rumoured to have his contract cancelled with Chelsea coming up very soon. I would love to see Baba Rahman come to the club back. That will be brilliant. I know I spoke about how I didn't really think he was too great last season, but with the options we've got at the moment, I would take Baba Rahman in a heartbeat. And especially because the guy seemed like he loved the club as well. Reading have got the perfect announcement as well for if they do sign him. We've got to wait till 11 o'clock. We've got to say, Rules fans, are you still awake? And then we've got to announce him that way. Brandon Williams was the next one. Obviously, he was at Norwich last year in the Premier League, so I don't really expect him to take a step down to the Championship level, but he seems like somebody we potentially could be able to get on loan. And the last one I looked at was Matt Ritchie, but again, he probably seems like somebody that probably would get better offers than Reading if he was to leave Newcastle. But I think, again, it could be a viable option for it, and I don't see why we couldn't try and get one of these players on loan. Look at some of the players we've got on loan recently. I mean, Jeff Hendrick is a good signing to get on loan. Danny Drinkwater last year. Why can't we go out and get a Matt Ritchie? Hell, Baba Rahman last year was a good signing to get on loan. So why would Matt Ritchie be unreasonable? I'm not too sure, but I don't think it will happen. Right, next we'll go ahead and look at the away kit. So I'll go ahead and put an image of it on the screen now. I quite like it. I think it looks decent. It's a white away kit with pinky red stripes. Again, it's symbolising the climate change in Reading and how the heat is affecting us. I'll tell you what, it is hot today, and it's definitely hot in here where I'm recording. Look, I think it looks like a decent kit. I like it. I've ordered it. I've bought it. Didn't buy the home kit straight away, which I've eventually bought that, but yeah, I like the away kit. I think it looks quite decent. I don't think it's the best away kit we've had in a while. I think last year's away kit was much better. I loved the yellow one, and I liked the black away kit we had a couple of seasons ago during the lockdown season. But look, it's decent. I think it's not too bad. So yeah, I think it's all right. Right, so moving in then to our last topic of conversation today, we're going to go ahead and preview the Rotherham game. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that one now. Rotherham actually didn't play last week, so the match day 2 of the Championship season, they didn't play. Their game was postponed against Coventry due to Coventry's pitch apparently being too poor to play on. 2 weeks into the season and Coventry already have a pitch that is too bad to play on, and it was their first game at home. What is going on there? I know rugby's been played there, but come on, that is very poor already. Looking at live score, their key player to watch out for is Connor Washington, supposedly. Connor Washington's been around the block for a few years. He's a very experienced Championship player. I think he's been playing in Div 1 for a few seasons now, but he did sign for them in the summer. I don't think Connor Washington's a massive threat. I've said that now. He'll definitely go ahead and score. I think he always scores against Reading, does Connor Washington, but yeah, I don't think he's a huge threat. if I'm being honest. I think Rotherham have got a set way of playing. It's very physical. It's very long balls. And I think Reading, if they are able to play their game in this game, will really be able to take advantage of that. And I think Reading can come away with all 3 points. They did draw 1-1 with Swansea in their first game of the season, though. I think they were quite lucky as well to get a 1-1 draw. Michael Obafemi missed an absolutely sitter of a chance. So, yeah, probably should have came away with not 1 point in that game. So, looking at Reading's starting 11, who I would start for this fixture, I've got Joe Lumley in goal. I've then got a back four of Yiadom, Holmes, McIntyre and Nesta Guinness-Walker. We've gone for a midfield two of Mamadou Loam and Jeff Hendrick. I've gone with Loam in the midfield over Tyrese Forner, as I don't really rate Forner too highly. Watching him against Stevenage, I don't think he played very well, and Loam looked very good. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do for us this season. In the midfield, just in front of them, we've gone for Tomins, Junior Hoylett and Mamadou Kamara. I've got Kamara coming into the first team, as I think he really can impress. I think he's a good player, and I think there's more to come from him throughout this season. Even if Kamara's going to be on the wing and Ince is in the middle, I think that could be something we could see on Saturday, as I really do think Kamara should really settle into the team. I can also see us playing Naby Sarr at centre-back and then just completely scrapping that extra player up there. And having us go with that as a back five instead of a back four if that signing does go over the line. And then finally I've gone for Shane Long up front, as he's our only fit striker, as George Puskas is definitely not going to be staying at the club. In terms of a prediction then for this game, I've gone for a 2-0 win to Reading. I do feel confident going into this game. I really do. I do think Reading have had a really decent start to the season. I think the performances as well have really shown that. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Reading. I'm going to go with Shane Long and Junior Hoylett to go ahead and get the goals in this game. So that's going to be it for the Reading Roundup today, guys. It's been week 7 of this. It's probably one of my more consistent series I've ever really put out. But yeah, I'm really enjoying doing the Reading Roundup, just talking to you guys about the week that has just happened. So it's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed it. I've been James. We'll see you all for the Rotherham Review tomorrow. See you next time. Peace.